When I wrote this song, I was on the ceiling. No, it won't be long till I crack this feeling. When the beat is strong and the lines have meaning. No, it won't be long.
Dublin people are sound. When you go to other cities around the world and you come back to Dublin, you notice what Dublin people are like. I think we are definitely unique.
As a city, it's just getting harder and harder to live in.
I've seen so many of the key venues close and be replaced by more hotels and apart hotels.
It's gotten to a stage where now it feels actively hostile towards creative people.
We just want to get a bit of culture back in Dublin, and we don't need any more fucking donuts. Rats out.
Till I crack this feeling.
Sometimes I'd hear a melody, the sound of what could be. Sometimes I'd hear a melody, the sound of what could be.
I started DJing in Andrews Lane Theatre once it became Hangar. 1 minute, everything was going great and it was thriving. The next, we all just heard that it was going to be turned into a hotel. Everyone can own the city, but it's hard to feel that way when things are just getting shut down left, right and centre. I started DJing in the Bernard Shaw quite a good few years ago. The Shaw is one of the only places that the focus is music, art, culture. It's way more than just a pub. Well, I mean, if you look around the place, it's covered in art. It's covered in graffiti, and it's something that they've embraced from the start. Since they've been here, the Bernard Shaw has always had to apply for a planning permission to operate outside in their beer garden. This year, they had that application refused. I got really angry, and I just thought there has to be some way of kind of raising awareness. So I started a petition. I was hoping maybe it would get 1,000 signatures. It's currently on 24,000. 24,000 people who really believe in the place and want this to stay. You can't just totally ignore the voice of the people in the city. It's really important for all of us in the city who have any kind of interest in keeping this place as a cultural hub to do whatever we can to fight against the greyness that's seeping into the city.
We always sing, even when we're losing, 'cause Dublin's drawn us hard enough, especially when you're down and you're bruising. We sing the old triangle and then the Tommy Rhine, 'cause all the world's a jail and we can't remember why.
So I make music because it has such a profound emotional effect on me. I've found a lot of clarity and peace when I'm dancing alongside all my friends. I think that's like an incredible force for good in the world. There's not many things that bring us together like that.
We look for signs that Dublin's heart's still beating.
I think it's incredibly hard to make a living from music in general, no matter where you are in the world. I've been doing it full time for the last 2 years, and so I wanted to try and do it full time so that I could just have no regrets. So Dublin Digital Radio is a community radio station. It's based here in Jigsaw. It's offered an outlet to bring like so many parts of the musical community together, which has been incredibly powerful. Keep it locked on DublinDigitalRadio.com all day long, the best online radio station in the world. I have a show on a monthly basis here. I'm doing that alongside 100 other shows. It is incredibly volunteer-led. No one's making any money. If it wasn't for DDR, I might not be living here, to be honest. you know, even if you are an artist who has been beaten down and has no funding and is living with your parents at the age of 28, like, then you can find solace in these little things. The idea, again, with the space here in Jigsaw is that we can have a studio for an online radio station, but downstairs we have a kitchen that is used during the week for people to come in and who are less fortunate, who can cook dinners in it, and then at the weekend it turns into a place where people can have a dance. It's been on a rolling monthly since July of last year. You know, things can change overnight. The way in which this space operates, it could be gone the next month, and that's something that I think has happened all over the city. I'm sure that all of us have experienced walking down certain streets and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that there's a 6-story student accommodation block on this street. I never saw that before. Now, obviously there's derelict sites around the city and it's great to see those being used, but when those developments are actually encroaching on creative spaces, then we have a massive problem because those creative spaces need to exist as well. So I'm involved in a campaign called Give Us the Night. What we're trying to achieve is essentially reframe the conversation around nightlife in Ireland. Something that I think is very interesting is that, you know, the Tivoli Theatre, which operated as a cultural space for the last 80, 90 years, since the 1930s, that has been a theatre, that's been a live music venue, that's been a cinema, that's been a club. Now it's been knocked down, it's going to be an apart hotel. And there's no provision in the planning for that building that it might be in any way used as a creative space. So we've lost it, it's gone. And if that can happen to the biggest venue in the city for underground music, then that's going to happen everywhere else. And we should take it as a very, very stark warning sign that this is going to come for pretty much every other creative related venue in the city if we don't actually take steps to try and get in the way of the sanitization of Dublin City.
Dublin in the rain is mine, a pregnant city with a Catholic mind. Starts those sheets for the birdhouse jail, all mescaline when the past is stale. Pale, Dublin in the rain is mine, a pregnant city with a Catholic mind. Slick little boy with a mind of rich, pulling that.
I feel kind of sad taking everything down. I really like the studio.
My childhood was small.
We're here in my studio in Rathmines and we've been given our notice that we have to move out by the end of the month. And it's my third studio to move out of in 3 years. Each place that I've moved out of has been developed into student accommodation or hotels and just need to look for another studio now, which is getting harder and harder in the city. Okay. I've always been a massive fan of flea markets and there just wasn't really a thriving market culture, so we thought we'd start our own.
Yeah, she makes gorgeous necklaces, like really colourful, all kind of wooden and then big chunky things. Thank you so much. And thank you so much.
You can't hold me now, you're not my lover.
This is really important, the fringes, because that's where you get changes in style and music and fashion. And this is what really makes the city unique.
Across no man's land, you can't hold me now, you're not my.
The flea market started in the recession in 2008. No matter what Sunday that you go down to Newmarket, there was always this really amazing vibe and everybody was welcome. And over the years we grew from 20 to 80 stalls.
I can feel it in my bones deep down. Run away, forget your face, every other piece fall into place.
Newmarket was always sort of up for redevelopment. We did know it was coming, but when it comes, it's really difficult to suddenly pack up and then you start looking for a new location. What we found was either we couldn't afford the spiralling rent prices or that nobody was willing to give us a longer lease than 1 year because any warehouse was usually up for redevelopment.
Beige mauve colours, bright lights shining.
Hey, do you need it? It is beautiful, isn't it?
Can't free me now. I'm breathing night air, night air. I can feel.
So we've started a campaign called Love Your Markets, and it's about supporting markets wherever you are. For us, we're going to look at lobbying to Dublin City Council to try and change the policies in the development plan. I really love Dublin so much. Now we're on a trajectory for lots of late night venues and artist studios and markets going, but I think that there'll be a backlash to that.
The city is made up by people. It's not made up by money. It's not about the buildings. It's about the people who inhabit it. They're what needs attention. You know, it's their quality of life that matters.
Baby, hold me closer. My heart is looking for you tonight. I don't know what it is yet.
Well, Club Comfort is a community of friends. We've been running parties in the city on a regular basis for the past year. We loved going to nightclubs when we first turned 18. We were going to places like Twisted Pepper and seeing loads of like really cutting edge, amazing electronic music. But after the Pepper closed down, that seemed to die out. We mostly just kind of fantasized about club nights we had seen on the internet through Instagram, and we thought we can do something like that ourselves.
I think a lot of our friends found challenges going to some of the venues in Dublin, and definitely challenged on what they're wearing.
We use it as a tool for escapism. I think we've brought in a lot of people who are kind of like marginalized. So there's going to be people coming in wearing all sorts of crazy gear that they've made themselves, you know, and there's also people who roll up wearing the same thing that they wore to work that day.
We started Club Comfort a year ago in the basement of Fibrous.
We had consistent crowds coming, but we had heard from management that we weren't selling as many drinks as they would have liked. It costs so much for any venue to buy a late license, and if you're not selling drinks, that doesn't make sense economically. So I can't even necessarily blame them, because our crowd doesn't drink as much, you know, which is a good thing.
For us, the challenge is trying to find small to medium-sized venues. You know, there's so few in Dublin.
Dublin isn't looking after its creative community as it is now. It's more focused on enhancing profits than it is enhancing the quality of lives of the people here. We have so many of the best creative minds, the most resourceful people, and we can enrich people's lives by doing what we do, just getting as many people in one space and get them talking to each other and interacting. That's going to lead to more of this kind of thing.
Or at the very least, a bit of dancing.
I think that art in general has such an amazing power of bringing people together.
We have the power to make changes through marching and voting, and we've had so many amazing changes in Ireland over the last couple of years with our referendums, that I really believe that we will stand up for our rights and stand up for what's important to us.
Everyone has to show their passion for Dublin to stay vibrant. Whatever it might be, it's just important to let your voice be heard and fight the power.
I finally see true love and what it means. How good it feels when I compare it to your skin. So the sun will come and please make radiant. If I can hold on for the soul.